Hi, everybody. I'm Sunny, and this is We Gotta Talk, a live weekly digital talk show and podcast where we like to dig deep. Real talk, big topics. Now, let's dig in. Okay. Hey, everybody. Welcome to We Gotta Talk. I'm so glad you're here with me today. I should have mentioned this last week and in last week's episode, and I meant to, but life. So, content this month is dedicated specifically to all of my favorite mature ladies in the audience. I turned 42 late last month, and I noticed that like a lot of things changed for the better hitting 40. And I hate that the narrative out there is that life ends at midlife or, things go downhill. What I have found that is that it's better than ever in a lot of ways. So I'm dedicating the month of October in honor of all of my fellow ladies out there who are in this stage of life. And it could be 35 approaching 40, or it could be whatever age you are. Feeling your best, looking your best, and being happy with getting older. It truly is a blessing. So today's episode is all about looking and feeling your best. This woman is someone I've been following on Instagram for quite some time, and I just mentioned this to her before we went live. I have saved a lot of her videos. And that's unique. Being a mega beauty fan like I am, I encounter a ton of content when it comes to makeup or skincare, and it's great, but not all of it has practical tips that I'm actually going to use. But this woman does. She is a self-taught makeup artist whose videos reach hundreds of thousands of women. She talks everything from makeup hacks to the products she's obsessed with, tricks for different shapes of face and eyes, makeup dupes, and so much more. Kate Talbert, welcome to We Gotta Talk, and thank you for being here.
Thank you so much for having me. I am honored, and thank you so much for such a kind introduction. I'm happy to be here, and I could talk makeup all day long, so there's nowhere I'd rather be.
You do such a good job. And guys, I'll pop up, if you're watching live, her handle on the banner here, and you can check it out. But Kate, you create these reels, and they're definitely sort of tutorial in nature. You're always showing us something. You're always showing off a product or a technique. What is it about this space that drew you to it? Makeup, aesthetics, beauty. What do you love about it?
Oh my gosh. Well, I started about 2 or 3 years ago. I've always loved makeup. I don't know if you're familiar with the show. You're around my age. So do you remember the show Dawson's Creek or like One Tree Hill?
Oh, yes, girl. Yes.
Yes. All of our youth, right? Okay. Well, those shows were filmed where I grew up in Wilmington, North Carolina. And so what my claim to fame is I was an extra in one of the cafeteria scenes. You can
for Katie Holmes?
For like, oh, no, just.
Oh, you're not a body double. Oh, an extra.
Okay. No. That would have been the first thing we talked about. No, I was just like one of the high schoolers in the background. But cool. I can remember going and being obsessed with watching the makeup on the set and watching the makeup artists work. And so that's kind of when it started for me, was just because it was like what they were doing was magic. It was transformative. And so then as I got older and I had my babies, and they were growing up a little bit, I was trying to figure out what I wanted to do with my life. And I just started doing friends makeup and for weddings, for events, for, maternity pictures here and there. And then I started to realize that almost every single woman that sat down in front of me, was between the ages of, say, 35 to up to 75. And almost every single one of them felt either disappointed or overwhelmed or confused by makeup because their skin was changing and products were no longer geared to them. And walking into a place like Sephora or Ulta was overwhelming. And they just didn't, a lot of them said, I just kind of gave up, it's just too much. And so I started to realize that there was this really specific demographic that was kind of, I don't want to say forgotten by the beauty industry, but sometimes forgotten by the beauty industry.
Right.
And so I kind of started to hone in on that a little bit. And then COVID happened and somebody said to me, you should do a video for Zoom makeup, because it looks so different. I thought that's a great idea. And I did that video, and that's where it all kind of started. And so, then I realized pretty quickly on that I wanted to focus specifically on women over 35, 40 and trying to make makeup approachable and make it simple. So
what is unique about our skin and our face structure at that time? Because there are so many like intangibles to hitting 40. And this was one of them that I noticed. You know, everybody says, well, you stop caring what other people think. Check. Your skin and your makeup changes. Like, check. All of a sudden, it was almost like to the date, Kate. I was like, oh, I don't like a baked heavy matte.
No, it doesn't work anymore.
Right. What is it about our skin that's like requiring these changes in technique and product?
The number one thing is that as we age, the skin, so basically our skin is great at rebuilding layers, and that's just collagen production. Like in our skin, that's what it does. Right as we hit about 30, 37, 38, that slows down significantly. And then it really like screeches to a halt at 40. And the skin just kind of forgets how to do that. Not that it stops doing it entirely, it doesn't ever, but it's no longer bouncing back as quickly. It's losing elasticity, and then it's losing the ability to come back. So like in our 20s and our 30s, when we could, we could do a primer and a luminizer and then a foundation and then a concealer and then a bake and then and we could do all these layers and it looked fabulous. You can't do that anymore because now the skin has become thinner and it just can't carry the weight of that many products anymore.
Interesting. It's almost like when you're younger, like I don't want to say it's absorbing because that's like the wrong term, but your skin can handle it. Like there's more of a support to hold all the layers in place.
Yes, exactly. And this is probably a terrible comparison, but it's kind of like as we get older and our bones, like you can't put as much, stress on them. Like you have to take a little bit of a gentler, softer approach.
So what is the basic rule of thumb when people hit, and we're going to call it 35 on, because I don't want to like hamstring, anyone listening to this conversation and say, well, 40 is still like 5 or 6 years away. These are good things to know. So what is the general vibe we're going for as far as if we want that seamless look when it comes to foundations or any of the texture of the products?
Right. Okay. So my favorite thing is going to be always creams. I love creams because we have to remember that liquids sit on top of the skin, creams melt. And we always want that kind of like melted, seamless look to go on. And then I'm a huge fan of one layer makeup. It's also called underpainting. A really fabulous makeup artist, Mary Phillips, kind of, it's sort of her technique that she came up with, and it's fabulous. And it's a technique that's been around for a long, long time, but I feel like it's just gaining popularity lately. But makeup artists have been doing this for years and years and years and years. And it's just the idea of instead of packing on multiple layers of product onto the skin, that we kind of do it all at one time. And so it's instead of doing like an entire layer of foundation and then your concealer, it's sort of only adding product where needed. Another thing that I really love to tell women is, take off your makeup, do your skincare, look in the mirror and like smile and talk and look, where does your face move? Where are these high movement areas? Okay. So for most of us, like even as I'm talking right now, you can see it's kind of like this area. Those are those high movement areas. That is where makeup is going to settle and cake and crease. That's where those problems are. So I want you to concentrate more out here where you've got a little bit more firmness.
You're pointing to like the outer portions of your face.
Yes.
Tell us where you're pointing for anyone who's listening.
So like all this area, if you think of your face as an oval, the outside of the oval is low movement area. It's area that just does not move around as much, because you can see as we're talking, like
right. So it's almost as if you were to trace a circle around the edge of your face. Okay.
Exactly.
Or an oval.
Exactly. Yep. Okay. Yep. And so that is where we can do those fun things like the bronzer and the contour and some blush. Right. This area I try to keep very simple and
what
very,
area is
very
that?
light.
Describe that area.
This middle part. So basically like the under eyes, around the nose, and then around the mouth.
Okay.
And then depending on my client, maybe like right here in this area. So basically like this. Like if I could just draw a line right there.
You're kind of going from like holding your fingers on each side of your nose, from the top of your forehead, down the sides of your nose, down your chin. And what are we doing with that area again?
This area. We can put makeup here, but that's the area where I go light. So if I'm going to apply a foundation, for instance, I'm not going to go in and start in this area. Like
you're not going to start on that stripe down the middle of your face.
Right. So if I were to, so if I were to grab like foundation, which I have a gazillion of in front of me.
Guys, she has a whole caddy of makeup next to her. I said, Kate, have some products on hand that you can show. And
I said, tell me more.
She said, no problem. She's like, this is my mobile Sephora.
I don't even have to go. It took me 2 seconds. So if I were to take foundation, I'm never going to go like right here with it, you know, because it's going to cake. Instead, I'm going to take it on the back of my hand. I'm going to start like over here or over here, and then slowly move it over into these areas.
But you're almost, that's like an afterthought. The bulk of the product that you're putting on is on the outer parts where they aren't highly mobile, so it's not creasing, and then whatever's left, we're going down that middle stripe kind of.
Yep. And then as I come over, that's when I'm going to start to like blend it towards the center.
So where you start with the Makeup Matters too, with that first
1,000%.
I never thought of that before.
Yes, because you have to think about it this way. Wherever you put your brush or your product first, that's where you're getting the most pigment. Okay. So, and that goes for eyeshadow, blush, concealer, foundation, all the things. So it's why whenever I do like eyeshadow, well, I want most of my pigment to be around here. So I don't ever start over here.
You're not starting in the corner of your eye. You're starting on the outer.
Yes, because that's where I want the most of the pigment to be. I don't want it to be over here, you know? And same thing with like blush. I don't want the bulk of my pigment to be up here, right? I kind of want it to fade into this like gradual thing.
Right.
I want the bulk to be over here. So that's where I'm going to put my brush. And we also have to remember that brushes carry products. So if you take this brush, and this goes for powder, gel, cream, anything, and you dip it in, right? Okay. Well, you can see it's right there. But what we're not seeing is it travels in the bristles. And then we put it on our face and it travels through the bristles and it spreads out. So that's another thing to keep in mind. Like sometimes I'll have women come over and I'll say, just show me how you're doing your makeup so we can troubleshoot. And a lot of times they'll say, well, my blush is looking really, really weird. And they'll pull out a brush like this.
And that you're showing, you're showing kind of like a puffier.
Yes, like a bit much bigger.
A fluffy brush.
Yes.
Okay. So what should we be using for blush?
Something like this.
More compact.
Because if you go with this and then this, like this is going to spread out and blush is going everywhere.
And it looks like you got like slammed with like rouge.
Yes. And then we're trying to, it's like, you know, abandon ship. Like, what do we do? Blend. Like, let's put some concealer on it. Let's put some, you know,
you're right. And then you get that layered caked on.
Yes.
And then the texture.
Yeah. And then it's like, I give up.
That's okay. So guys, I just want to reiterate for anyone who's just listening, and we're going to put some clips up on Instagram so you can see us visually. We're going to go for a more compact slanted brush when it comes to blush in particular.
Yes. I love this for brush.
Who makes that?
This is a brand called Rephr, REPHR. They make fabulous brushes that I love for more mature skin because of the shape of the brushes. They're a little bit smaller. They are a little bit tighter packed, so it's a little bit more user friendly. Okay. You know, user friendly. I love these. Another brand of brushes that you just cannot go wrong with is BK Beauty. They were created by Lisa, who's an amazing makeup artist, and I love a makeup brush created by a makeup artist because I think she was very thoughtful in how she created her brushes. And so this is one that I love. I call it the kitten paw brush because it looks like a little kitten paw.
Oh, it does. But a little slant there too. What do you use that for?
It's genius. This is a concealer brush because it fits right in to
oh my gosh. It looks like a fingertip. It has that like
exactly. It looks like a fingertip. Yep.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So it just, as opposed to like this, like that's not going to work. This is
showing like a wider brush. Yeah, we want that compact feel. So is the rule of thumb here, Kate, use the brush that has like the same sort of surface area as the area you want to look like, right? Yes. Don't overblow it. Because we do see those big fluffy brushes and we're like, oh, this looks like it'd be so soft and fun on my face. But
it'd be so easy and it'll do it all at one time. And I think sometimes too, people think like the bigger the brush, the quicker it's going to go, you know, like the quicker the application. And that's just not, you know, it's just not the case. I say if you're going to use a big brush, like if you have a brush that, like this is one of my favorites. It's from a company called Delium Tools. You can get them off Amazon. It's a big brush. It's a big guy, but again, it's slanted. and the bristles are tightly packed. So what I like to use this brush for is when I'm all done with my makeup, I will just go in and just like everywhere, just to kind of make sure when I go in the car and look in the mirror, there's no like, oh,
right. It's almost
that. Yeah.
blending all the edges in it. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
so interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's just all blended.
So we will touch on different types of brushes for other parts of the face, but I want to rewind and just kind of finish talking about textures and general things that people should look out for. So if you were to give a few keywords that people in this age group should be looking for when it comes to foundation in particular, we're looking for what creams, what finish are we looking for that's most flattering? And if you want to include some of the specific products that you like, we would love that too.
I say, let's try to stay away from mattifying foundations. They're just going to be a little bit too harsh. Look for words like luminous, radiant. Things I would much rather you get a foundation that has a little bit less coverage that you can build up slowly versus like a very heavy duty foundation. Some of my favorite foundations that I'm loving right now, let's see. There's so many. Cover FX actually just came out with one. It's a serum concealer. I really love serum concealers right now. Another great one is the Lancome makes a beautiful light foundation. Let's see.
Which one specifically? Do you know?
The Tint Idol.
T-E-I-N.
Yep. I-D-O-L-E.
Got it.
Gosh, let me see. I have a couple of them listed right here, actually.
And are you pumping the foundation, Kate, onto the back of your hand and then dipping the brush in that?
I never, ever, ever put it directly on my face. I always put it on the back of my hand. And then I typically always start with my fingers. So make sure your hands are clean. But I typically dip in with my fingers, and then I do something called pre-blending, which is just if you think about liquid or cream foundation, when you put it on your skin and it starts to blend out, it has these little tiny pigment balls, basically, that when they hit the skin, they kind of go outwards, and that's what gives you that coverage. I like for that to happen on the back of my hand first so that I'm going to get more coverage. So I kind of, let me think, I've got here, okay. I'll just show you. So I'll take the foundation and I'll put it on the back of my hand. Another big thing is people tend to use way too much product.
Okay, so show us. And I'm going to try to describe to you guys. So it's almost like it's what? Half
that light, like harsh.
Not even the size of a dime. It's almost
just
like
little. And that's, I'm probably not even going to use that much. And then I'll take my fingers, again, clean. And another really good trick is if you're dealing with something like longevity, like your makeup's not lasting very long, you can spray your setting spray into the foundation. So like this is a great one from Rare Beauty. I'll just spray, mix my hand, and see, do you see how now it's like, it's so much more product, right? Like it just spread out. And then I will go in and I'll just use my fingers and start to blend. Just like that. And then once I feel like it's blended, like, I don't know, 80% of the way maybe, then you can go back in with your brush and kind of finish it off. But it just gives you a much more seamless look, a softer look. And you can see like it's so much more product than we started with, and it just spreads out.
Yeah, I mean, the total amount of product used was, like I said, maybe not even the size the whole time, and you have leftover.
Oh yeah. And this is enough for, like, that's too much. There's no way I could use all that on my face.
Okay, awesome. Okay, so talk about foundation, or sorry, concealers now. This is another tricky one, and I found that for me personally, I'm leaning into more of at least what's being marketed at. Not Shape Tape is what I'm saying. You know what I mean? Like not like the big boys. Not that there isn't a place for that. I do use that like on camera sometimes, whatever.
Yeah.
But like I can't, like you said, my skin can't support that heavier mattifying kind of look. So let's talk concealers now.
Absolutely. Concealer is, I love concealer. And I think this is like the year of concealers. So many brands have come out with so many phenomenal concealers. Like they have stepped up their game. So one that I'm absolutely loving, probably my favorite concealer right now, is the one from Natasha Denona. It's the High Glam Concealer. She just, I mean, I love everything she does, but she just nailed it. Like I feel like she thought, okay, what does a woman over 40 need in a concealer? And this is it. And the reason I say that is because it is soft. It's got light reflecting properties, but there is no shimmer. There is no glitter. So it's not going to be like accentuating texture. It self sets. So you're just going to need like maybe a tiny bit of powder to set it down, and it's buildable. So if you put on one layer and you feel like, I still want like a little bit more, you can add a little bit more without worrying that it's going to become a cakey mess. Love, love, love. Another one that I really like that is a new release is from Tower 28. This is a really great clean beauty brand. If that's something that is important to you, you can feel really good about what you're putting on your skin here. And they knocked it out of the park with this one. Again, it's going to be a lighter concealer that you can build up, which I love. Another great one, I don't know if I have it on me here, but it's from the brand Kulfi, Kulfi. They are a little bit of a lesser known brand, but they just launched in Sephora, and their concealer is amazing. A little bit more coverage. So I like that for women that have got a little bit more discoloration underneath the eyes, because it's just going to pack a little bit more of a punch. I love, love that one. And I really actually like, I don't have it out here with me, but the NARS under eye corrector. I really love.
Oh, okay. So really not the creamy concealer, but the corrector.
The creamy concealer is great for like, not underneath the eyes. I wouldn't put that under the eyes, but it's great for acne, rosacea, age spots, sunspots, like little discoloration on the face. But they actually make a color corrector for underneath the eyes. And it's amazing. It's amazing. It looks just like the creamy concealer. It's in a little pot, and you barely need any. And I will take that, especially if I've got a client that's got a lot of discoloration, and I will just kind of like tap it and then go in with a little bit of concealer, and it's beautiful.
Okay, I want to ask a specific question on that. This is my area of like most needed concealment is under my eyes. I have that purpley tone. So I have found obviously like the apricots or something with a little bit of an orange really works well. But when I get into the color correctors, like you were just talking about with NARS, what I find is that it's tricky for me to manage the texture. So I could put the corrector on, but then when I put the concealer on top, it ends up being this big mix of product. So how do we apply it correctly?
Okay, so the first thing to remember is you want your textures to match. Okay, so if I'm going to use a corrector like NARS that has got more of that cream texture, I'm going to use a little bit of a creamier concealer. We want our textures to match each other. And then with the corrector, I think another thing that is important to remember is once you apply that corrector, so you apply it, under the eyes, wherever you need it, leave it. Don't go in with a concealer right away. Okay. So I think that's kind of the key, is that we put the corrector on and then immediately go in with a concealer, and that's where they're mixing together.
So give it what, like a minute or two, or?
Yeah, like 90 seconds, like 60 to 90 seconds, so do your brow, something, but just leave it, let it absorb and sit in the skin, and then go in with your concealer. And that's something that I tell people with all cream products, is you've got to let your skin absorb them a little bit before directly going in with another product. And I know that's kind of a pain because we want fast and quick, but when it comes to creams, like you got to give them 60, 90 seconds, like let them get comfy before introducing a new one.
Yeah, it's like you said, goes with the whole theme of makeup in this age, 35 plus, just like let your skin breathe, let it soak it in a little, let it work with your texture.
Yes. And that's something, one of my favorite makeup artists Wayne Goss, he's on YouTube. He's kind of like the king of makeup on YouTube. A technique that he taught years ago that I always follow is, when you're done with all your cream-based products, go in and get some toilet paper, just like good old toilet paper, and just tap. Your skin will push out what it does not need.
Oh, that's interesting.
It's really incredible. So if you put on, this is before any powders, you put on your creams, wait like 60 seconds, like a minute, go get some toilet paper. You could even wrap it around a sponge, or you can just wrap it around your finger. Doesn't need to be fancy. And just don't swipe it, but just tap. Your skin will push out what it can't handle. And so you'll notice then you're going to pull away that toilet paper and be like, oh, that was sitting on top of my skin. That is makeup that my skin did not absorb. And it's literally your skin is saying like, hey, we don't need this. And so
it's so simple. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. What do you think then about primers? Because and again, back to the discussion of layering or putting on too much, I've personally found that I'm away from primers now, and I'm to the setting sprays, where I'm like, but this is just what works for my skin. But what is your thought on a primer?
Well, I think it's, again, and this is for all makeup, it is so personal. I tell people that all the time, because sometimes I'll get people and they'll be like, you told me this was going to work and it didn't work. And it's like, well, yeah, like it can work for 99 people, but the 100th, like, so if you're using a primer and you're loving it, then it's working for you. I am not a big fan of primer all over the face. I just don't think it's necessary. Not all primers are made equal. The way that I personally like to use a primer is I like a skincare infused primer. Mm-hmm. So like Lancome makes a really great one. It's a hydrating one.
Which one is that, Kate?
This one is the priming serum. So it's like a serum based primer. It's also just like really pretty to look at. Mm-hmm. But it's kind of that like putty texture.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I see it. Yep.
Yeah. And so I will use this, and I use this to fill in wrinkles. So I'm not going to go in and put this all over the face, but like on myself, my problem area is like pores and texture around the nose. So I would go in and press it in those areas, wait 60 seconds, and then apply my makeup. But I don't think we need to take like a traditional primer and put it all over the face.
No. Okay, good to know. All right, let's move on to the eyes. Another thing that I now find myself preferring is like a shadow stick or a cream shadow.
Yeah.
Not that I don't mess with powders anymore, but what is it about textures for eye products 35 plus?
Yeah, I think cream is such a good option because the same concept like with a cream foundation, they're just going to melt into the skin a little bit easier. And the first place to show our age is our eyes. And so I think when we go in, and I love powders too, and I use them too, but I think when we go in with like, and I just made a video on this last night, we go in with multiple layers of powder, like, 5, 6, 7, we're just going on. It looks heavy and it almost makes the eye look droopy a little bit, like top heavy. So I think when we're going in with lighter creams, it's just opening up the eye a little bit more. So I personally love using creams. I almost pretty much every day, my base is a cream bronzer on my eyes. That's what I like. Just because cream bronzers have a toning element to them where they're kind of color correct. So a lot of times we get discoloration in our eyes, on our eyelids. They'll look red or like varicose veins, stuff like that. So I'll take a little bit of my cream bronzer. The one that I love is from LYS. And I'll just take it on like a small brush and just.
Oh, so you're using it and you're kind of applying the bronzer into the crease of the eye.
Crease and above. Yep.
What was that again? The name of that product, Kate?
This is from LYS, and it's their No Limits bronzer. And it's my favorite cream bronzer. Absolutely love it.
I've been seeing a lot of that as people, even for like a quick get out the door, it's just the cream bronzer on top. And I like it. I mean, I have a purple lid, so it does enough to kind of like make it look like I'm putting some effort in without feeling like it's like fully shaded and blah, blah, blah.
Absolutely.
What shadow sticks do you like?
I love the shadow sticks from Laura Mercier. The caviar sticks are great. Bobbi Brown makes a really good one, and they just came out with dual-ended ones. So they now have, they're in complementary colors, which is great. If you're somebody who's kind of a beginner or you don't want to invest a lot of money, it's kind of nice because now you've got 2 colors, same price, and they are colors that have been chosen specifically to go together, which is great. And actually, Milani just came out with shadow sticks, and I love them. They are the best shadow sticks at the drugstore. And I don't even want to say, I feel like that, not even at the drugstore, like they're just great shadow sticks, but they're at an affordable price. These are phenomenal. They look a lot like,
I was going to say, it looks like Laura Mercier's.
Yeah, exactly. It does. Right. Yep, they do. It's the same texture. I was going to put it on my hand, but it's covered with foundation. We'll do this hand. The texture is so pretty, so creamy, so blendable.
Oh yeah, I can see that. There's a lot of shimmer to that.
Yeah, but they also have mattes.
Right. Okay. Yeah. But like you can tell it's highly pigmented. It looks like a quality.
Yes. It's not like dry. You're not going to have to go over the eye multiple times. You're going to get your money's worth. And I want to say they come in like 16 shades. So it's a really good shade range. And they've got mattes and shimmers. So whatever you prefer, you will find it there. And I love when drugstores, I feel like drugstore makeup has come such a long way. Like there's just so many good options there now.
What about eyeliners? This is another, I'm going back to like a pencil liner for the first time in a long time, because I'm finding it's giving me that precision to get between the lashes, but it's not like, I don't know, something about a liquid wing is just like not working for me anymore. You know what I did too, Kate? And I brought my little props out only for this. I tried your trick that you posted on Instagram for the easy wing.
Yes.
And you took like the flat end of something. Guys, this is genius. So I took my Victoria Beckham, This
I
is
love
fig.
that.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Have you tried the Victoria
Yes.
Beckham liners?
Yeah. And her eyebrow pencil is like my favorite ever.
Insane. And I took my little pencil and my brush and I went in and then I held the flat end up just like this. And you said kind of make it feel like you're doing into your lashes. And like, look at that subtle.
I know. Perfect. It's perfect. I know.
It's genius.
I know.
Genius. Okay.
Yep.
Did you come up with that on your own? Because that's pretty.
Yeah, that one I will claim credit for. I'm a big fan of giving credit where I will always say like, so and so I saw this on so-and-so's tip, but that one I came up with. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. I love it. I love it so much. So what other eyelining products are we liking?
Okay. Eyelining. I love using shadow as liner. So just taking like a really tiny liner brush. Pencil liners that I love, Victoria Beckham. I mean, I feel like that doesn't get talked about enough.
No, it's insane. No. In fact, I even introduced it to my makeup artist that I regularly use. And I was like, can you use this on me and tell me if it's as good as I think it is?
Yeah.
I have it in 4 shades now.
Yep.
Love it. Mm-hmm.
I have the bright blue one. And I love the bright blue one. I'll use it sometimes just like a little bit just for a pop. I've yet to try anything that I haven't been wowed by from her line. So
it's really good.
Yeah.
Really good.
Agreed. Okay. Also Buxom. I really like their liners. They just came out with some new ones. I like them because they have a little spongy thing on one side, which makes it easy to do kind of that wing. I also like the shape of it. It's like a little bit angled.
Oh, it's an angle. It's like a flat thing. It's not a point, like a pencil.
Yeah, there's not like a point. Yep.
Okay.
Which is nice. And then it has the brush that you can blend with. So I like those a lot. From the drugstore, I really like the Essence gel liners. Those are great. Very, very easy to work with. And then Makeup Forever. They're aqua resist eyeliners. I mean, they've been around forever. They are really long wearing. They're great. I love these. I have them in, I think, like 10 different shades, and I rebuy them every year.
Tell me about the best way to apply the pencil liner too, because I do think there's like, I can tell that when I aim for, like I said, going between the lashes, I get a better look. Otherwise, it almost feels like the liner is like sitting on top and there's like
I think what people tend to do with pencil liners, they'll take it and they'll try to do like this, like straight on. And then like the hand kind of bounces and you get like the little marks and it just doesn't look smooth. It looks like it kind of got dragged across the skin. So I think 2 things. One, I think like what you were doing with your liner is a great, take like a sharp angled brush and just pick some up, and you can even put sometimes I'll just put some on the back of my hand and then pick it up from there, because then it just really, the coat, it gets evenly coated,
And you're using a really, really fine angled brush for that.
Yes. Very sharp. Very sharp. This one is from Scott Barnes.
Okay. Oh yeah.
J-Lo's makeup artist. Yeah.
Okay.
He has a line of brushes that are incredible. I don't ever hear anybody talk about them, but they're so good. So like a very fine tip. And then you can go in and short little dashes. Instead of like trying to do one line, your hand's going to shake. It's just too hard. So just wiggle it in, start in the center, because remember, pigment is going to be darkest where you place it first. So start in the center and just short dashes close to the lash line. The other thing that you can do, if you don't want to do the brush and you really just want to use the pencil, warm it up in the palm of your hand for like 5 seconds. Just let it get kind of warmed up, and then don't go in straight, go in side, lay it on the side.
Okay.
Because it's like the difference is doing this, it's going to kind of jump on the skin.
Right.
If you just lie it down, it much smoother against the skin.
That's what I do when I am wearing it's not often these days, but like a liquid liner. I just like lay it on top of the lash and and then I just flip it over and
exactly.
It's like
so much easier.
Trusted. So much easier.
I know, so much easier. And I'm not a huge liquid liner girl, but the only one that I do love and I do use like on a consistent basis, do I have it out here? It's the one from One Size. It's in
Patrick Starr's brand.
Yes. And it's really good, and it's just easy. It's easy. Another one, since we're talking about liners, this is from Guide Beauty.
I love Guide. I interviewed their founder.
Oh my gosh, Selma Blair.
Yeah. No. Well, she's one of them. No, the makeup artist behind.
The one.
Yes, and she was fantastic.
Oh my,
And
yeah.
yeah, I obviously love like the usability behind it too.
Absolutely. And such a good, like, I don't know. I just, that again feels like a forgotten market, and they honed in on it and just did it so well. I love their products. I've actually, in the video for the Easy Liner, this is what I was using.
The guy, yes.
Yep.
Terry Bryant was her name.
Terry Bryant. Okay. Yes.
Yeah, Terry Bryant. She was brilliant. And she talks about like having Parkinson's and needing the dexterity of her, hands to be, anyway, just really fascinating.
Yeah, no, I mean, love the brand. Everything I've tried from them, their mascara. I love how you can hold it. It's amazing. I could speak all day about it. But this comes with, here, it's right here. This applicator.
Yes, it's like a rubber tipped thing, guys. It almost looks like a rubber quill pen, right?
Yes, exactly. Yeah. And sometimes I'll show it and people are like, "Oh, I don't want to poke myself." I'm like, "No, it's like it's soft.
Right.
Like it's not going to hurt you."
Anchor it there and just draw. Yeah, it's so good.
Yep.
So good.
So easy. So I love, and it comes in brown and black, and this by itself is great too. Like you don't have, if this scares you and you don't want to use it, you don't have to. You can also just use a regular brush,
Right.
And this is such a great product too, because I use this on my brows for liner.
Ooh, you can use a gel on your brows. I guess you can. I mean, like there's no rules, right?
There's no rules. I know. And if there are, let's break them.
Yeah.
So you can use it however you want. And I love that.
Yeah. Okay, Kate, let's talk mascaras. I know this is such a wildly unique thing, but this can be just what works for Kate if you want a couple of your favorites.
Okay. I love a tubing mascara. I'm a big fan.
Oh, okay.
A tubing mascara uses polymers to create tubes around the lash versus a traditional mascara that paints onto the lash. So they're a little bit, they don't smear. So I love a tubing mascara, but I also have non-tubing mascaras favorites. Okay. Some of my favorites. My favorite tubing mascara is the Caloray Come Hell High Water mascara. Love it. Love it so much. That was my first ever tubing mascara that I tried, and I fell in love with that one. I also love the Limitless Lash from Merit. Love them. I just for the first time last week tried the Maybelline Sky High mascara. So good.
And that's not a tubing one, right?
That one's not a tubing mascara.
Right. Okay.
And then the one that I've been using lately, I didn't bring it out here with me, but it's from a brand called, actually, maybe I did. No, it's from a brand called Polite Society.
Oh my gosh, I just heard their founder was interviewed. I can't even remember what podcast it was on, but
yeah. Okay. Love it. I love it. It's called Legendary Lashes, I believe is the name of it. And it was amazing. I loved it so much.
I'm like furiously taking notes here.
Oh yeah.
Guys, I will link all of these products, I promise.
I'm like, I could talk all day long about mascara.
No, I love it. I love it.
It's one of my favorite mascara, bronzer, and concealer. Those are like my three must-have products.
Okay, let's move to lips if we can.
Okay,
Kate, things that you're, I mean, again, this could be your preference, but let's speak to generally that age category. If there's some specific sort of issue you're noticing that a lot of your clients are saying, oh, my lips are drier or whatever, and what you recommend.
I think we're going to have a little guest. I think people, can you say hello? Hello.
Now that's perfect skin, Kate.
I know. If we could just copy this like perfect angelic skin, I know. And I have an 8-year-old too who she loves to play my makeup. I'm like, don't you even touch it. Your skin is perfection. I will pay good money to have your skin. We are going to go to gymnastics. We are. Okay. The number one thing that I hear is people saying that they're losing volume in their lips. It's a mic thing so she can hear me.
Hi.
Can you say hi? Can you wave?
So sweet. Hello.
Thank you.
How are you?
Are you good? Yes, you are. So I love a lip plumper. Now, my favorite one is from Lawless Beauty. It's called, I know.
Oh my gosh, forget the filler.
Yep, forget the filler. That's what I recommend. Look, she's got it down.
Oh my gosh, she is like, Kate, I am impressed. Now, this is the daughter of a makeup artist. Look at you contouring, baby girl.
I know. You know exactly what to do.
So cute. Okay, I will make this quick. I know we're like running down the clock and I'm like making you share all of your
I could talk. I mean, look, we could sit here for hours and talk all the products, but I love Lawless Forget the Filler. I use them a lot, and she sees you. She's like waiting for us.
Hi, baby.
And then I'll tell people too, like bring it outside the lip line, because a lot of times we get those like fine lines. And so you can't hear me. And so if you take it outside the lip line, it'll kind of plump everything up.
Okay, good to know. All right, we're going to have one more question, Kate, then we're going to cut you loose because I know you have things to do. It's just something we should keep in mind. And as we're shopping for makeup, as we're like trying to sort of redo our makeup wardrobe, this phase in life.
I can't hear her.
I would say look for products that are multi-use. Like let's go simple. Let's look. I love cream blushes that you can use on your lips, like the Guide Beauty. I love that I can use that on my brows and as liner. I think as much as you can simplify it, the better. And I think look for less ingredients. Honestly, so many brands are getting better about that, about not packing products full of ingredients that are just filler products. So I think that would be one of my biggest takeaways. And then also, I always tell people, like, if you're going to go into Sephora or Ulta, go in, have them try the makeup on you, go outside, look in your car mirror. That's like the mirror of truth, and like, go look and see what you think, because those overhead lights, they are very deceiving. Go out in the real world, see how it feels. And also I could talk about this all day, but like, please don't be afraid. I hear people say all the time, well, somebody told me I can't wear shimmer because I'm over 50. Like, let's not do that. Let's not do that. If shimmer makes you feel great, then wear the shimmer.
Right.
So I think there's definitely guidelines that we can try to follow, but everybody is it's such an individual thing. And at the end of the day, do what makes you feel like the best version of you. I always say, I don't ever want makeup to make people feel not like themselves. I just want it to feel like you, but you woke up on your best day.
Yeah, I love that rule. The rules are there are no rules. I love it.
Yeah.
Okay, Kate, thank you for spending time with us. I'm laughing. Was that a brow product that we got into there? What is that?
A little mascara.
It's okay. You're gonna have black streaks across your face in 2 seconds.
It's just the season we're in.
Oh, I love it. I get it. I'm not far out from that season. So Kate, we'll tell everybody where to find you in show notes as well. But on Instagram, you're at Kate Talbert MUA, correct?
Yes. Kate Talbert MUA.
Mommy,
awesome. Kate, thank you so much for spending time with me today. And thank you to your little correspondent too.
Oh, thank you. Can you say bye? Can you say bye?
Bye. Little future makeup star.
Yes, I know.
Thank you,
Kate, so much.
All right. Thank you guys so much. If you were watching and or listening, I'm going to link all of the products that Kate mentioned in show notes. So no worries about trying to track that down. I have the dog barking in the background. We're going to sign off for now. Show notes will include all of the products. If you get a chance, leave a rating and review, guys. Those are finally starting to build, and it's so cool to finally have that. So please do that if you haven't already done so. And that's it. We'll be back next week with more good stuff. And the topic next week in this special 40 plus topic month is especially interesting. It also relates to aesthetics. So I can't wait to share it with you. See you guys next week. Thank you so much.